Alba Mineral Resources has entered into an agreement to acquire a majority stake in the Motzfeldt Critical Metals Project located in Southern Greenland. Executive Chairman George Frangeskides joins us now. So, George, you've been aware of Greenland as a country that hosts a number of large-scale critical raw material deposits, not least through Alba's investment in Green Rock Strategic Materials. So what has led you to take a majority stake in the Motzfeldt project, and why is it transformational for Alba?
Well, you're absolutely right. We know Greenland very well. In fact, first invested in Greenland at Alba in around 2016 with the Amitsoq project, and then we added three, in fact, more projects in the ensuing years, and then spun out all of those Greenland assets into a new listing called Green Rock. So we're still the largest shareholder in Green Rock. So we've got a lot of familiarity with Greenland. We're aware of it having some really large scale deposits, particularly in the critical raw materials space. So that's what we're interested in here. Motzfeldt is really one of the top three rare earth deposits in Greenland. The other two in the same province of Southern Greenland, the Garda province. One of them's just been sold, or a stake in one of them was just sold last year for over $200 million to a NASDAQ company. The other one is currently in abeyance because of radioactive materials in that project that doesn't affect Motzfeldt. And so this really is as I said, the other of the three largest rare earth deposits, and it also has a suite of other critical raw materials in it. So it's very interesting, it's very prospective. It's got large scale potential, which is something that's particularly attractive, and it's in Greenland, which is having a huge amount of focus on it, on its mineral wealth, not only from the US but from the EU and other states too. So it ticks so many boxes. It is a very exciting prospect, and we're delighted to have agreed to acquire a majority stake in it.
But I'm just wondering how well it's been looked after, because how much work have the current operators done at Motzfeldt? What stage of the development model have they got it to?
Well, you have to look back. I mean, it's been a project that's been known about for some time. It was drilled previously by two different operators, in fact, and it has therefore a JORC resource. So it benefits from a 340 million ton JORC resource that obviously provides a huge amount of value already that's in the project that we haven't had to pay for. It would have cost millions that prior drilling. And that resource encompasses all these main critical raw materials, so niobium, tantalum, zirconium, and the rare earths as well. So it's a very solid base on which to take an interest in the project and push it forward. Now, the current operators have focused, in fact, that resource is at the Aries deposit, the main deposit, if you like, on the license. But there's a number of other prospects on the license that are just, if not more exciting than Aries. And the current operators have focused on one of those, Merino, and have come up with a hypothesis for very high grade rare earth mineralization at Merino. And that's going to be tested from next month on site. So again, a very opportune time to be acquiring an interest in Motzfeldt as the operators and therefore we, in conjunction with them, go into site next month and try to firm up on this high grade mineralization, rare earth mineralization at the Merino prospect.
And in terms of we, bit of a cheeky question, George, what does Alba bring to the project?
Well, as I've mentioned, I mean, we've got a huge amount of experience in the country. I mean, as Alba, we've managed three drill programs on our own, two in the far north at TBS in the past, and one at Amitsoq when it was still under Alba ownership. And then when it moved into Green Rock ownership, we helped Green Rock do the second drilling campaign at Amitsoq. So we've got a huge amount of experience there, not only technical, but also just operating experience, logistics and how to get things done there. And we have fantastic relationships with all the key contractors in country. So we're very well placed to really push this project forward because Greenland holds no fears for us at all. In fact, we see the huge potential there with this project.
Okay, you're fearless. So you've also completed a share placing which has been announced alongside this acquisition. Is this enough to fulfill the short-term goals for the asset?
Yeah, look, I mean, you're absolutely right. The good thing about Motzfeldt is, of course, serious amount of money will need to be spent in terms of getting it into production in the years to come. But the beauty of the project is the stage it's at currently, and with the program being completed next month, work that then follows, that ensues from there, is going to be largely desktop and sort of processing studies. And that'll really enable us to take this project forward. So a detailed metallurgical processing study using a 2.5-ton bulk sample that handily happens to be sitting in storage that the current operators took a few years ago. It's sitting in storage in the UK, ready to be processed. So that's a modest exercise, but will help us to identify the best means of recovering, the best process for recovering as much of that critical raw material, the niobium, tantalum, zirconium, rare earth mix as possible. So that's a key piece of work and at a modest cost that will take this project forward. We'll be looking to update the scoping study that was written some years ago to look at the sort of economic assessment, a preliminary economic assessment for the project. Again, fairly modest cost. These aren't involving huge field programs. They're desktop exercises, but they add a lot of value, as we've seen on the Green Rock side with their PEA, preliminary economic assessment for Amitsoq. So these are the things that we will look to do in the short term with the money that we've raised. And at the same time, the beauty of a project like this is in the raw materials, critical raw materials space. Huge amount of focus at the moment from governments seeking to basically fund these projects in order to secure an interest, which is non-Chinese and secure and stable in things like rare earths. So we'll be looking really hard to get some of that low cost or no cost funding from public sources over the coming months that will enable us to really push the project forward without having to do a lot of dilutive raises. And that's another, really key advantage of a project like this and where it is in Greenland. Equidistance between the US and Europe means that we've got a high chance of attracting that kind of funding. So we're pretty excited by that prospect too.
A bit more on the funding that you've raised this month, though. Some of the money raised is being apportioned to continuing the development of the Clogau St David's gold mine in Wales. How will the money be used, and how is this project progressing?
Well, we've just announced a few days back that we'll be going back into level 5 at Clogau next month, or sorry, possibly late this month, early next month, to carry on the blasting that we were doing down at level 5 on our main target, the Leckfraith target. So that will be work that's happening very soon. We're very excited, of course, to get into that main target. We're still not quite there yet. So the next round of blasting, that's the intention: get into that main target, pull out a lot of material and process it, and let's hope that we get economic grades of mineralization there that basically underpin a decision to move forward and move into development of the mine for commercial production. So that's a really key milestone that we're going to be hitting, in the coming months, where we do the next phase of blasting.
Okay, so the gold in Wales, the multi-element opportunity in Greenland, and also the earning at Finnsbo in Sweden, which we don't have time to talk about in this conversation. But how will you manage the workload across this portfolio in order to deliver real progress?
Well, as I sort of touched on already, I mean, the work at Motzfeldt is kind of planned and is about to be undertaken in the field. So that's pretty much done and planned and will be rolled out very shortly. Thereafter, it's desktop exercises and test work exercises, which will be run by consultants in the main. At Clogau, we have a dedicated team that knows what it's doing in terms of operating underground and working with our main blasting contractors. So again, that's pretty much tried and tested. We know exactly how to roll out that program. And at Finnsbo, the next phase again is going to involve contractors, as we've just done with our geophysical survey there. The next phase is likely to involve a short drill program, which will be undertaken by drill contractors, most probably either in Sweden or coming across from somewhere like Finland. So we're very confident that we've got everything covered, and we've got the right team and the right personnel and contractors to really push forward on all three of these projects.
George, thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. George Frangeskides, the Executive Chairman of Alba Mineral Resources. Thank you very much indeed. You're a very busy man.
Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.